good. Thank you. How are y'all?
Good.
Excellent.
Good.
You started?
Yeah.
Thanks.
She was saying
I know, but it's usually at least acknowledge that, I say, okay. That's okay. Hey, greetings, family. Here at USHA and Instagram. Today, I'm looking forward to today. We're talking about something that makes us or breaks us. And that's relationship. Relationship is so diverse because it deals with so many aspects of ourselves. It's relationships when we first come into this earth with our parents, our mothers, our fathers, and whoever else is around. We, at that beginning stage, are forming relationships. So, when we talk about relationships, we're talking about the things that really mold us, that either make us or break us. Some people allow relationships to break them. No relationship is designed to break you. Every relationship is designed to move you in the direction that you have come here to go on. So, relationship. What is it?
Wait a minute, babe, before you keep going, because she's going to speak to them. Like we were saying last week,
there's a lot of work going on
here. There's work going on here at USHA. They're cutting tile and laying floors and renovating rooms and, so.
I really didn't want to disturb them, but no matter where I go, we're going to hear it because we go right down there, it's going to be the same.
Right. So. Well, we're not going to be too long. So, right. Yeah.
So it's all good?
Yeah, it's all good.
All right, good. So, relationship. This is going to be a couple of chapters because, like I told you, it's part of the manual for being human, and I can't think of nothing more about being human than relationships. Relationships is what develops us into what we begin to think about ourselves. So, relationship, I feel, is one of the greatest things that we need to come to grips with as far as our life expression. Because we look at our brothers and our sisters that's maternal to us, that's come from the same womb we passed through, and we consider them family because we're taught that. That's my family, this is my brother, this is my sister. But the reality is that we're all brothers and sisters. I mean, when it comes to this earthly expression, yes, that has some validity. But when it comes to us as energetic beings, it has no validity at all. Why do I say that? Once you decide you want to go on your journey of enlightenment, the whole time you're on this life journey, it's about enlightenment. But once you decide that's going to be your thrust, your biggest challenges are going to be your family. Your brothers, your sisters, your mothers, your cousins, the ones that's closest to you. Why? Because the ones that's closest to you feel like they know who you are because they saw you grow up from a young child to wherever you are when you decide to make this transition. So they're going to be the ones that's going to oppose you the most. Why? Because they was raised by society. We all are raised by society until you decide to break that chain. And when you decide to break that chain, then society no longer has the influence that it has on you that it was intended to have. Because when we understand that society can't raise us because society don't know what we represent, society represents the masses being governed by a small group. How can a small group govern a mass of people? In reality, it's ludicrous. But yet, I ain't gonna say but yet, in the circumstances in which we live, it's reality. Because we allowed that reality to be part of our reality. It's not part of my reality. Like I tell everybody, I live my life free. I owe no man nothing but to love him. Period. Nobody can walk up to me and say, you owe me this. They can't say it. Why? Because I owe nobody nothing. Why? Because I designed my life that way. How did I do that? By not allowing those outside forces to have influence on my inside reality. So again, I'm going to say our family, which we call family, because the truth is, sometimes those that you consider to be your brothers and your sisters be your biggest enemy, your biggest adversary. Why? Because you're an easy target. They know that whatever they do to you, you're going to excuse it. And how do we excuse it? We go, that's my brother. They crazy like that. That's my sister. Oh, she's crazy like that. But when somebody who's not part of your maternal chain does it, oh, there's consequences to be paid. Oh, they better not come around me no more. I don't even want to see them no more. I ain't talking to them. I don't have time for that kind of madness. We accept that from what we call our family. Is that really your family? Truly, our family are those that line up with the path that we're walking on. If those that you consider your family are not, and again, we're dealing with relationship, are not on the same path that you're on, you can't expect them to act any different than what they're going to act. So you got to treat them the same way you would treat anybody else who's interfering with the journey that you know you're on. You move them out the way. You keep them at arm's length. You don't allow them to influence your life. I don't care if they your brother, your sister, your mother, or your daddy. Because we come through into this earth realm. And when we come through, we already come with a plan. A lot of us don't understand that, but it's reality nonetheless. We come with a plan. And what is that plan? Everybody's plan is the same. We work it out in different ways, but it's the same. And what is it? To perfect this human expression so that we don't have to go through this rotation over and over. I mean, you can believe what you want about the times you've been here, but you've been here a long ass time. And we have to come to the reality that we're here because we haven't perfected ourselves to the point to where we can move out of this earth realm. Because this is a school. Just like you go to high school, you go to elementary school, same thing, ain't no different. Everything in this life is the same. So this is what I call soul school. The earth is where we go through soul school, where we teaching our soul to surrender to the reality of our consciousness, our true being, our third attention, as some call it, our God self. And in coming down here to express that, once you start expressing that, then you begin to understand how the universe operates. You're not going to understand how the universe operates when you separate yourself from that, because the universe is one with itself. We're one with ourselves. We become one with it. That's just how everything operates. We've gotten so far detached from reality that we think that fame and greatness is the same thing. That is ludicrous. People who you see that you consider famous and people who exhibit greatness are two totally different things. And we have, in our minds, somehow allowed fame to equate to greatness when it don't equate to that at all. Greatness is what you do when what you're doing help the whole of humanity to move to a higher place within themselves. If that's not what you're doing, you're not doing anything. Why? Because as you're doing that for yourself, that's the expression that you give out. We lie to ourselves all the time. Go, oh yeah, I'm on this spiritual journey. What spiritual journey are you on? You ain't even dealt with your fleshly journey yet. Why? Relationships. We're taught from those who are assigned to help us at the beginning of this journey to discover why we're here haven't discovered why they're here. How in the hell are they going to help you discover why you're here? They're not here to do that. Only you can do that. They're only here to help, to clothe us, to feed us, and to allow and tell us how this society works. And from there, we're responsible.
So I'm glad you said that because, you know, we just passed Mother's Day holiday. We know that's not a worldwide holiday. It's a U.S.-inspired holiday, but it's Mother's Day, you know. So who's going to be like, the hell with Mother's Day? Like, who doesn't want to honor their mother? Actually, I know a couple of people who've had some treacherous moms, but, you know, most of us love our mother, right? And this is when, you know, when we first got together, we would have conversations about what it is to be a mother, and really more or less like the relationship of a mother to her child. So why don't you, because this is a relationship.
Right, that's the initial relationship. You go through that relationship, then you have children, and you go and you send your children through the same process that your mother put you through. I had to learn for myself not to put hands on my children, because when I would always reflect on when I was younger, and my grandmother and mother would beat the hell out of me. Aunties beat the hell out of me. I was like, and I remember the thought inside of me. It was like, you guys got that from slavery. I remember I told my grandmama, I said, you got that from slavery. She slapped me in the mouth. Bam! Boy, shut the hell up. I was like, that's what I'm talking about. You know, because in that environment, it's the need to control.
Well, we do what we see.
What I'm saying,
we do
it's
what
true.
Yeah.
That is a fact.
Right.
Yet, as we begin, like, I grew up like everybody else. I grew up with my cousins, and I watched them beat the hell out of their kids.
Right.
I chose not to beat my kids.
Right.
Why? Because of the thought that I had when I was younger. So when I had kids, and I was like, didn't I tell you? And that thought always came back. Oh, is that going to help them? Did it help you? It never did.
Right.
It made me tough. That's what it did. Every time I got a beating, I got tougher. I was like, shit, if I could take the ass whipping like that, I ain't got to take the ass whipping from nobody out there. Because all they can do is just, and when I got to submit.
Was it bad? You growing up in L.A. and gang
Yeah, it's still bad.
Was it bad? It helped prepare you?
No, it did not help prepare me, babe.
Okay.
It made you rough and tough, but that don't prepare you for what's out there, because it ain't about just fighting. It's about, it was guns and, you know, it was different. But what I'm saying is that the idea that I need to control you, and in order to control you, I have to physically let you know that by hitting you.
Right.
That thought in and of itself
is sick.
It's corrupt.
It's sick.
It's part of the corrupt design that they molded us in.
Right.
And we justify it because we know, we go, well, I came out all right and I got my ass whipped. And then you look at times and I hear people, they go, ooh, they should have beat their ass.
Yeah.
And that comes from the idea that hurting somebody physically is going to change them emotionally, and it's not.
Wait, I have to say, I say this all the time, I have 6 children, and they're really in 2 sets of 3s, 3 and 3, right? 1, 2, I have 1 child, then 2 sets of then a set of twins, and then 1 child and a set of twins, both times. And it's interesting to watch as I grew, because I was young with the first set. And then as I grew and learned and was growing in motherhood, I really didn't want to beat the other children. The way I learned, I grew. And my son, one of the older ones, he was like, you need to beat them. Sounded like Celie on The Color Purple. He was, they're not being in line. Beat them. Like you beat me. Now my son is about to have a child, and I know, first of all, his wife is not having him beat the kid. And I bet you Michael doesn't even think that beating the child is a good idea, but because I was whooping his ass.
He said you need to beat her. That was
because he has animals there. He's an animal lover. He would never beat those animals. So I know he ain't gonna beat no human. But yeah, like the institutionalization, the in the mind. So it was passed down to me. I was whooping their ass when they was young, and then so naturally, you like you said, you have to come back from it and be like, you know what, I don't think actually hitting someone, and then I think about it post ass whooping and not, it didn't make a damn difference. And it didn't with me either. My mother whooped it didn't make a difference with me. I still did what I wanted to do, and I was willing to take an ass whooping for it. Oh, okay, she ain't gonna like it. I'm gonna have to, but whatever. So it doesn't stop you from doing anything. Just shows you that somebody doesn't have control of their emotions at that time to be able to deal with this other person.
Like I said, in relationships, that stems from the idea that I need to control this individual.
Yeah.
That's why men beat women.
Yeah.
Because they be like, hey, girl, I told you don't put that dress on. Well, I'm going out with my friends. I can dress how I want. I'm a grown woman. Oh, are you? Blah, 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 blah. And then she's sitting there all bruised up. Why? Because of his own insecurity, he feels like the only way to control her is to beat her. Well, because that's what he was taught. So you have a whole society of men that love beating women. Mm-hmm. And you have women that love beating men too, because it ain't no different for women. I know women who are strong, mm-hmm. and their husbands are strong too, and yet they find a way to knock them out.
They roll with them.
It's like, because when I was young, I watched it for myself. That's why I know. I remember my buddy, his mama used to tell his daddy, look, boy, you coming here drunk on Friday again. And without no money, I'm knocking you out. And I remember I was spending the night over their house that night, and he was he worked in the meat market, and he was a stout guy. That didn't make no difference. He walked through that door, staggered a couple of times. She cracked him. I heard it. I was like, wow. He was sleeping. She slept him. She put him to sleep because she would let him know I meant what I said. Mm-hmm. But think about what's going on in that dynamics. It's like, I got to control your habits, and the only way I know to control that is to knock you the hell out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know a story about a guy who had a son that was unruly. He couldn't control this son. He would act out all kind of ways. And he asked the advice of a wise elderly guy. He said, man, I don't know how to deal with this dude. What am I supposed to do? He said, don't you hit him. He said, don't. He said, first, take him down to the morgue, take him to a funeral home, and let him touch a dead body. He said, let him touch it, and let him know, hey, this individual is dead, touch it, feel what that feels like. He said, then go down to Skid Row somewhere and find somebody that you can pay, that when you bring in your kid by, they come and snatch him, and don't beat him back, but give him a good couple of tags and let him go. He said, I guarantee you that boy is going to change. Why? Because of the fact that you're not defending him and the act that this individual did to them because of how they're acting. He's saying you got to let the bum know, hey, make sure that you don't move until you see him acting out, and you put him in a position where he act out, and you let that bum come get that ass. Hey, I guarantee you that changes them. Why? Because it's not you. Because what happened, I know all the times I got beaten, and your mother tell you, I'm only beating you because I love you. You be like, what kind of love is that? Because that kind of love is physically painful. And we grew up with that idea. So men and women alike just thrash one another and go, I only did it because I love you. Well, for real? Is that why you did that? Not in reality, it's not why. Our need to do that comes from a need to control. And in truth, we're only here to learn how to control our own feelings and our own emotions and not let them be our masters, but to master them because they are our servants. So relationship, oh man, I know I'm going to be on this for a couple of sessions. Why? Because it entails everything in our life. Not only everything in our life, everything in our future. Because if we allow what happened in our relationships of the past affect our relationships of the present, the past becomes our reality in the future. Why? Because we keep pulling back and grabbing the same resources that got us where we at now. So you don't move from that spot. You keep staying in the same cycle. Why? Because you created that cycle. I'm here to help everybody, including myself, with understanding the power of relationships, the joy of relationships, because relationships, when interacted with properly, becomes a tool for us to grow, a tool for us to become more creative, a tool for us to see ourselves through somebody else, because they're going to tell you what they see of you. If they truly being freedom oriented, I'm going to say, because freedom comes with a price. And the price that freedom exacts on you is your ability to release everything and let freedom rule you. That means not allowing anything to anchor you down. Because we go through our life and we put anchors on ourselves with events, how certain things made us feel, how we reacted to certain things. A lot of times, like I said, self-forgiveness is a powerful thing, because we don't even like forgiving ourselves for some of the acts that we've done that was in our past. So we keep dragging that back to our present, and then we recreate it in our future. When you can have a whole new future, one that's unfolding right before your eyes. Because this work that we do in relationships with ourselves and with others, it goes on until we leave this place. It's not something that you just acquire and you got it. No, it's a constant battle. Why? Because we live in these physical bodies. And these physical bodies that we live in, they require interaction. They require it. Why? Because we all are conscious, and that consciousness have always been part of one full conscious awareness. That's why, as a conscious community, you create a different environment when you're conscious, or you go to a community where you have those that's conscious and the majority is not. You're going to have a whole nother environment. So relationships is everything. Relationships is what make us choose where we decide to live and how we decide to live. Because the relationships that we have in the course of our life is creating within us an idea of how things should be. And all those ideas come from a society that didn't have our best interests in mind anyway. So then you got to ask yourself, is all of what I've been taught have any validity when it comes to how I express myself on this earth? And I'm going to tell you, no, it don't. Just like that, it don't. Why? Because nobody can tell anybody how they're supposed to be, no matter where you come from. Because we come into this earth realm with a path that we have to walk on, no matter what geographical location you find yourself. You still find yourself with yourself. And you find yourself being guided by your conscious awareness, which is your spirit inside of you. And once you allow that to happen, whole worlds open up. Why? Because you finding new things about you that you didn't even know existed until you opened up to your own self. And we always seeking relationships outside of ourselves, looking for that relationship to make us feel better inside or validate who we are. There's no relationship out there that can validate you but you. Our relationships that we have with others is a reflection on the relationship you have with yourself. So when you see somebody angry and always with that, oh man, I don't, and got that negative attitude about everything, hey, mark it. If you hang with that individual, I guarantee you, you're going to wind up just like them. Why? Because That's going to be the basis of their conversation with you and their relationship with you. So their expression is going to be their expression. It's just that you are allowing that expression now to be part of your reality. And then we wonder why we go through things, we go through all kind of issues with our own life. And a lot of it stems from the relationships that we have allowed to come into our realm that stirs up negativity within us that we express into this universe. So we're going to get the results of it. Nothing happens by accident. Everything is by design. And how is that design? Come start here. For all of us, we start creating our reality right here. And right here, when we speak out into this universe. People forget words of power. So when you allow your words to mean nothing, they mean nothing. But when you realize that your words are power, they change things. They change your reality. They change you. It changes everything. The game change. And that's what we're all about. Changing everything. Relationships are designed for two people to be together. Like when we got married, we called our marriage a universal union of power. It wasn't, us just getting married. No, it was a marriage of two forces. The feminine force and the masculine force to create power. That's what unions are for. So then, I'm going to ask you, is your union creating power? Because if it's creating a mess and it's causing you to be crazy, then you need to re-examine the relationship that you find yourself in. And this is real. People have said, sometimes I can be harsh. Harsh is when you see people living a life that is detrimental for all the kids around them and all the individuals that surround that. To me, that's harsh. Me trying to communicate to people how they can create a better reality for themselves and everybody around them. I don't care how it come out of my mouth. It's still the same. It's knowledge that you can take and apply and see it manifest within your life. Because that's the only thing that's important. What anything else don't mean nothing. These things that we so seek to acquire don't mean nothing. You ain't taking no things with you. When you die, you ain't taking nothing with you but your consciousness. And at the moment of your death, if you haven't come to grips with your reality, with your soul, if you have not become one with yourself, you're going through it again. You're going to go through this again. This ain't the first time. Like I said when I started, this ain't new to none of us. We've all been here. We've all been conscious, and consciousness existed.
So one of my favorite songs is Tina Marie, Deja Vu, which really
It's
says
about that.
all of just what, he's saying. Like, if you don't learn and your life is filled with anger and hatred, then
You're coming back.
You got to go through the school of earth again.
Because you ain't learned your lessons. A lot of folks leave this place early for lack of their own understanding. People die all the time because doctors tell them, oh, well, you only have 6 months to live.
Yeah.
And you internalize that. And then you speak that out your mouth, that becomes your reality. So, in essence, what you have done is took what somebody else said and caused your own death. Why? Because you lack the knowledge to understand that what you say out of your mouth is going to affect you directly. Had the doctor said you got 6 months to live, he go, that's your opinion, doc. That's not my understanding. I know that I have plenty of life to live, and I'm going to live it however long that is.
Dick Gregory talks about that. It's an excerpt on YouTube and social media where the doctor said something to him about cancer, and I think he had one of his children with him, and, he told his son, he was like, don't say nothing to your mother. He was like, because once we speak that out, then you've told every cell in your body that this is true. So he was like, we're not going to tell, and then he beat it.
Of course, he had to.
Lived on years after that. But, yeah, the doctor saying something doesn't decree it so.
Hey, for real, doctors become God in people's lives. Because if a doctor can tell you, hey, you only got 6 months to live, and you go and declare that you have allowed that person to become God over your life.
Right.
When you realize that nobody is God over your life but you, and that you are a part of all of creation, your vocabulary changes. When somebody tell you something stupid like that, you look at them and go, why do you want to pronounce that kind of garbage on me? I said, I don't accept that, and never speak on it again. It would not be reality. People don't believe that because they believe that, well, it was said, so it's got to be. And we tell ourselves all these stupid things when the universe is always in motion. It's always moving and expanding and growing. So are we. We have to grow out of some of our own habits that we learn through our relationships with one another. We have to become more aware that we are here not to be a detriment to one another, but to be a force of change and a force of power and a force of love for one another. But to do that for one another, you got to be that for yourself. That's why I'm so content with just being with her. I don't care if nobody ever come visit me. I'm going to say it again so all y'all can be clear. I don't care if nobody ever come visit me. I have not. Why? Because we always have something to do over there. We always working on ourselves. We always working in the garden. We always being one with the earth. Understanding that she provides everything we need. So we're in touch with her. We got thermal water over there. Healing water, man. We getting that water and we could feel the healing in our bodies. Hey, that's why I'm letting you know. I'm not here because, Dr. Sebi was my father. I was away from him for 21 years. I lived all over the place.
No, that's a connection.
It's a connection. I helped build these huts.
Yeah.
So, for me to be here now was only the Spirit telling me, hey, you started this place, you're gonna enjoy it. You don't have to do nothing else. Period. So here I am living my best life. And I love every moment of it. That breeze that's blowing right now, it's a taste of divine. That's what it is for me. I mean, because I done lived my life. I lived in Compton. I bought my first house in Compton. I remember driving down the street after picking up my daughter, and there's a shootout on the corner. Blah, blah. I had to put my car in reverse and back up on the one way. So I have gone through all of the, what you would call the madness that is created in a society where people do not value themselves enough to value anything outside of themselves. People can tell you all day long, I love you. All you have to do is watch them. And if they're showing you things about themselves that is contrary to love, then they can in no way possible love you. And a lot of times that verbiage is said through siblings who come through the same womb, when in reality, some of them be your worst enemies. Like I say, they be the most detrimental part of your life, and we accept it and go, well, that's my brother. What? That's not your brother. Just because he came through your mother don't make him your brother. When he's doing everything possible to destroy your life, and you're going to declare this is your brother? Unless you're
in the dynasty where Cleopatra ruled and they was murdering the hell out of their siblings. Y'all got to watch Queen Cleopatra on Netflix that Jada Pinkett Smith
she
did, and it's
an
interesting, the Egyptians lived by a different, law. They was murdering.
And even in that, you think about the reason for them wanting to kill one another over a position.
Yeah. Over being pharaoh.
Over a position.
Yeah.
When that position, as I had come to understand, was a position that once a person got to the point of being able to acquire that position, they're never trying to kill anything. And that's real.
Yeah.
Because why? Then in that state, you have been initiated into your oneness. Mm-hmm. You have opened yourself up to your God self. So how are you going to go out and start killing? That don't exist. Mm-hmm. The only way someone who have acquired that type of knowledge and understanding will kill if someone then is threatening their life, and yet on the same hand they would never put themselves in a position where somebody would be threatening their life. Why? Because they so attuned to life that life directs them in another way, so they don't even have to experience that at all. So as far as you going, well, anybody can be violated, that is not true. I've lived my life. Everybody knew I was a gunman. I always carried a gun. I was packing everywhere I went. So when I got out of prison the last time, I was like 21. I'm 64 years old now. I was like 20-something years old. I haven't had a gun since then because the Spirit said, no more guns. Well, I could cry right now. Because I was like, what? That was my whole identity, was a gun-toting ass nigga. And I had to let that go and then trust the Spirit to keep me and protect me. That was next to impossible for me. But here I am. I ain't had a gun. So it's not necessary. We have to understand that we can trust ourselves for everything. Not just some things, for every single thing. Because God lives in you. So if God lives in you, how are you not going to be well taken care of? To think that you're not is ludicrous. And that thought within itself destroys you. Why? Because you're looking outside for someone to help you when all the help you need is inside of you. So when you look outside for that help, there ain't no help there. Why? Because you're looking in the wrong place. Everything we need is in here. And when we really trust that, look, our life becomes something worth living. Because I hear a lot of people, man, I'm bored, I don't know what to do. I watch people I worked with that worked in a place for 40 years. I was only there 7, but I watched them retire and die. Why? Because that job was their life. It was their identity. It's what they lived for.
Or a spouse.
Or
as soon as one spouse dies, the other one dies within the month or a week or so. They live for the relationship. And then once that person in the relationship was gone, they had no life.
And that's the thing that's so untrue about our being here on this earth, is that we all come with purpose. Everybody. When a man and a woman come together, they both have purpose. They can acquire, they can change, they can mold the world. Yet they still individuals that's going to express themselves differently. For me to try to make her be something that I feel like she should be that she's not, it's not on her, it's on me. But if I allow her to be herself, I benefit. Why? Because then I don't have to do the work. The Spirit is doing the work. I don't have to do that. Why should I take on such a task when I have that task to deal with for myself? I have to allow the Spirit to mold and change me into what I need to be. Every time that I open my mouth, I take a step. Everything. Because it's constantly molding us. We're constantly expanding. We're constantly learning. We're no different than them trees out there. They're constantly growing. They shed leaves, get new leaves, bear fruit, dump the fruit, get more. It's a constant process. Same thing with us. We're no different. It's a constant process of unfoldment. And now that I've gotten this far, I can tell you it's a fact. Because in my 30s, I didn't talk the way I talk now. I didn't have half the understanding that I have now. I had a lot of knowledge in my head. I'm not going to tell you I didn't, because I was a man after knowledge. So I was always putting knowledge here. But it had no experience behind the knowledge. So that knowledge was not useful to me. But now that I've experienced so much of life and watched it, the things that I've come to understand, to unfold before my eyes, it's a beautiful thing. I readily release with anything that I cling to allow the Spirit to direct me the way it needs to direct me, because I know the outcome is always going to be to my benefit and everybody's around me. Got anything there, babe?
No, that was good. I'm sitting here I'm taking it all in and learning, and I love to hear it It's wonderful living with you because I get to hear this over and over again, and not just one thing, but then I also get to see him live it as well, and that's the kind of thing, like, so people lead by example, not by the words that they speak out of their mouth. So when you see somebody actually doing what they say, it's refreshing, and then it's invigorating for you because you're like, man, yeah, I want to, because I see the peace that he keeps around him. And and I was, when I first met him, I was bringing a little bit of drama. I'm like, no. And then I saw that, I still, because I come from the streets just like, most of us in America, or from the city. I don't want to say the streets because I ain't never been. But I saw that he did too. And there was a modicum of peace around him that, in all relationships that, I was like, that's cool. I like how he moves on this earth. And I align myself with him so I can mimic the same and get myself aligned to do the same thing, and and shave myself of the dramas that I was entertaining for no reason at all, and and a lot of times just out of pure ignorance. So so yes, babe, I was enjoying all of that. Right now we want to open it up to you guys and ask if you have anything to ask or add or share.
I just want to say thank you.
Of course.
Oh, you're definitely welcome. What's your name, bro?
Robert.
Robert,
Hey,
it's a
Robert, how you
pleasure,
doing?
man.
How long you been here? Couple of days.
3 days. 3
Cool.
days. I've been
Okay.
before though.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
When was you here before?
2021, August 2021.
Oh,
So right in the height of the pandemic. Okay, cool.
That's
Well,
cool,
welcome
man.
back.
yes.
Welcome
For
back.
sure. Yeah, we love it. We've been here doing our thing and gonna keep doing our thing and helping people to find out how to do their thing, because to me, this village not only represents healing, it represents wholeness. Because really when you allow yourself to be healed, you allow the totality of yourself to be healed. That means your brain can start receiving higher frequencies, because why? Now it's not battling within your body to heal itself. Because now you understand that, hey, it's what I've been doing to myself that's killing me, so let me stop doing that so that now I can start living again. And when we start living again, hey man, it's nothing. Look, the greatest thing about this life is living. That's it. It's living it. And we living it every day. So every day you should be seeking to make it better for yourself. And as you seek to make it better for yourself, like I say, it oozes on over to everybody else. So folks want to be around you. For people who always tell me, man, don't nobody like being around me, you need to look at yourself. If don't nobody like being around you, it's because you don't like being around
You're not
you.
be aroundable.
Hey, you don't like being around you. When you don't like being around you, why should anybody else like it? I mean, I remember the times when I looked in the mirror, I said, oh man, I do not like you. Because what I was portraying wasn't what I was feeling inside. Yet I was living that thing like as if it was all that I had to live. And believing it with all my heart. And did not like myself. So when the spirit broke me, man, I was in tears for 3 days. I could not stop crying. My heart was like, it didn't, you know how, you see that little broken heart where the spirit needed a chisel. It was like, cut it. It took a minute, boy. But when it opened up, it stayed open. It stayed open. That's why I don't like just exposing myself to everybody, because my heart is real sensitive and I want it to be like that, because that's the only way I can be close to the spirit. And so I have to always guard myself against the harshness of human behavior, because people behave harsh feeling like that's who they are when it's not who they are, and they justify it in their mind. So you have to be aware of that and know, hey, I got to guard myself against this individual because I see how they coming. But that don't mean you need to attack them. It just means you need to put distance between yourself and them, because they have already shown you where they're at. When we're shown, when the Spirit allow us to see something that's, you can say, not beneficial to us, then to continue engaging with it is a detriment to you. Because you got to remember the spirit is you that lives inside of this. That is your consciousness. That is infinite. So,
and the fact that it's even there means that it's inside of you. Otherwise, it would miss you.
Exactly.
It would sail right on by and it wouldn't be a lesson for you. But the fact that it's there, you brought it there, and it's a lesson for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, family, we're going to be continuing this Thursday. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Hey, peace on to all y'all, and may y'all continue to grow in wisdom. Hasta la vista.
I was like, is he